While a lot of brands have been struggling to adapt to the new crossover-centric market, both Lexus and Acura have been doing crossovers for a very long time. For both brands, they are the best-selling models, with the MDX also being the best-selling 3-row crossover, and the RX being the best-selling luxury vehicle, period. The RX, however, has always been 2 rows only. That is until this year with the introduction of the new extended wheelbase L model. Now Lexus has their sights on dominating the 3-row category as well, but MDX won't give up its crown easily. For this comparison, we'll be breaking down and comparing all aspects of both vehicles, and awarding points along the way. It will be mostly objective, but some points will be awarded based on my first-hand experiences with the vehicles. Let's get started. So like always, the first thing we'll do is establish the pricing and features of these two models. Starting out with the MDX, it keeps things very simple since Acura doesn't believe in individual options. We have the top tier Advance package, which starts out at $54,650. And then we have the only add-on of super handling all-wheel drive. After $975 destination, the total rings in at $57,625. For the Lexus, they feel very different about options since almost everything is standalone. The L starts out at $47,670, and we have the additional options of all-wheel drive, the navigation package, blind spot monitoring, 20-inch wheels, the premium package, and several other smaller items. With $995 destination, this balloons the price tag to a nearly identical $57,133. So now that we've established just how close these two are, let's get into the heart of the comparison. When shopping for luxury vehicles, even the smallest of details count, so we'll start off with the key fobs. Both have the brand's typical key fobs, mostly made from plastic but with some metal trim. The MDX's definitely feels more premium, plus it has remote start that the RX is missing. Naturally, both models do have smart entry, and also power folding mirrors. Before we check out the interior, let's first pop the hoods. Under the hoods, the MDX and RXL have a lot of similarities. Both are powered by 3.5-liter naturally aspirated V6 engines, making 290 horsepower in the MDX and 295 horsepower in the Lexus. The MDX, however, does have more transmission ratios at 9 versus 8, and its super handling all-wheel drive system is more sophisticated, since it can carefully modulate power going to individual wheels. As far as fuel economy is concerned, both cars do pretty good considering how big they are. The Lexus comes in at 18 city, 25 highway, 21 combined, while the Acura has auto start-stop and comes in slightly better at 19 city, 26 highway, 22 combined. Now that we've got the mechanical data out of the way, let's move on to the exterior design and features. Before we dig into all the nitty-gritty details, let's first take a moment to compare all the general styling. Starting up front with the Acura, it has their newest diamond pentagon grille, which is quite aggressive. But it has nothing on the Lexus, which has an enormous spindle grille surrounded by thick chrome. Turning to the headlights, they are fully LED, with LED daytime running lights, but halogen turn signals. The MDX also has full LED lights, but they look more premium with the jewel-eye design and LED turn signals. And down below, both crossovers have LED fog lights. So overall, while both have kind of controversial styling, the MDX's lights give it a more sophisticated design. When moving around to the rear, however, I feel a little different. The MDX looks extremely boring, and its lack of LED lights is offensive at this price point. I do appreciate that it has exposed exhaust pipes, unlike the RXL, but all in all, the Lexus looks more upscale. While we're back here, the MDX can tow a good deal more, at 5,000 pounds versus 3,500 pounds. Now let's start working our way around to all the features. For turning circles, the RX is smaller, at 38 feet versus 38.7 feet, but that's too close to award a point. They both also have really good looking 20-inch contrast alloy wheels, and 12-inch ventilated disc brakes. Moving up to the mirrors, again they are the same, with heating, power folding, auto dimming, and LED turn signals. Blind spot monitoring is located on the inside for the Acura. As far as warranties go, the two are exactly the same. They both have 4-year 50,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranties, and 6-year 70,000-mile powertrain warranties. But Lexus will cover your first 2 maintenance visits, which is something Acura does not. Moving on to the more important aspect of safety, both are highly rated. They scored the same rating of good on every test, including superior on front crash prevention, and they are labeled as Top Safety Picks 2018 from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. They both also come with a high level of standard active safety features, including automatic emergency braking, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, and automatic high beam headlights. To sum it up, these are some of the safest crossovers on the road today. Finally, for fuel capacities, the MDX has a 19.5 gallon tank, and the RXL 19.2 gallons. Since the MDX already has better fuel economy, its range of 429 miles is a good deal better than the 403 miles from the RXL. And as a nice bonus, neither of these require premium fuel. Well, that pretty much covers the exterior design and features. So let's go ahead and hop inside and see if there's more to separate them in there. So first, looking inside, you can already tell that they are a lot more different than on the outside. This MDX comes with Greystone Milano leather, nicely complemented by open pore ash wood. Our RX has the lighter color option called Parchment, and its leather and open pore bamboo are also real. As far as the seats themselves go, they both have 10-way power adjustment with 2-way lumbar. Memory functions are also included, as are 3-stage heating and ventilation. So first, looking around, both feel very large and open, but the RX has a richer look to it. And once you start touching things, those looks are supported by nicer materials. On the MDX, all of the upper dash and middle dash are made of soft touch plastic. Down a bit lower, you have real ash wood and aluminum trim. And all the other materials are nice, but not special. In the RX, things are a bit fancier, with the extra touch of stitching up top. In the middle, there is satin aluminum and leather, but the coolest part is the curved open pore bamboo. Finally, there is leather where your knees might touch, unlike the MDX. The same theme presents itself for the door trims, where both are nice, but the Lexus is more worthy of its price tag. So the overall materials point goes to the RX. Both models have push-button ignition. After pressing them, the screens fire up, 7 and 8 inches on the MDX and 12.3 inches on the RX. Looking at the gauges, both are on the conservative side of things, but the RX's multifunction display is larger and contains more useful information. For the steering wheels, the RX is more pleasing to hold, with higher grade leather, contrast stitching, and wood. Both are power adjusting and have heating. One of the most important components of a family crossover is storage, and in this regard, you can definitely tell the MDX's Honda roots. Its storage compartment is broken into two sections, with the bottom part sliding to reveal a much larger and deeper compartment. Storage in the RX is compromised by having the remote touch controller. Another bonus of the MDX is that it has more connections, including 3 higher voltage USBs and even a 120 volt household outlet. Moving back to the shifters, the Lexus has a traditional leather and aluminum one, while the Acura has their new electronic one. Regular shifters are more practical, but I'll call it even since the MDX has paddle shifters. When in reverse, both have backup cameras, but the MDX includes a 360-degree bird's eye camera. This system makes parking much less stressful, and is a big bonus in day-to-day use. Next up, we have the climate controls. In both crossovers, it is tri-zone automatic, but there's a big difference in the controls. While the RX has all the functions represented with physical buttons, the MDX splits up the controls between physical and virtual buttons. This is a very convoluted way of doing things, and makes a simple task like turning down the fan take multiple steps. That's unsafe, and therefore the RX takes the point. Now let's sample the audio systems. They are overall pretty close, but the Lexus has more speakers and the more refined sound. Now let's check out the radically different infotainment systems. Starting with Acura Link, it has been upgraded this year, but its operation is exactly the same. That means you still have a touchscreen on the bottom, but a non-touch display on the top that you have to control via the dash-mounted knob. Unfortunately, it's not always clear what feature will appear on what screen, so it often feels disconnected. This year, the bottom screen's processing has been improved, but stuff like messaging and the map quality have not. Thankfully, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay functionality have both been added, but since they appear on the top display, they're still hard to use. I don't want to be too harsh, but I've been in a lot of cars, and this is my least favorite system. Moving to the Lexus Inform system, it is better, but it's far from the best. I love this screen, and the ability to have side-by-side info, but moving around with the remote touch controller is difficult even when the car isn't in motion. There is an app suite, but the apps you want most, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, are not available. Navigation map quality is also not that great. Overall, Inform is okay, and that's enough to get the point here. Wrapping up the front of the cabin, both have frameless auto-dimming rearview mirrors and HomeLink universal remotes. Both also have standard-sized moonroofs, though the RX can have a panoramic one for an extra $1,600. Well, that's it for the front of the cabin, so now let's evaluate the important spaces for the rest of the family. Looking into the rear of these two crossovers, you'll find significantly more space in the MDX. At 30.9 inches of legroom, the RXL is actually smaller than the regular RX, and smaller than the MDX at 36.6 inches of legroom. For headroom, however, they are essentially the same. Getting inside, both have nice accommodations, but the MDX handles the climate better. It has the control panel located here in the second row, while the RX strangely has it located in the third row. And the MDX also has heated rear seats that the Lexus is missing. Something important to remember is that if you go for the loaded MDX, you get this handy center console, which reduces the seating capacity to 6. Still though, considering that these are designed to haul the entire family, the RX gets a point for having 7 seats. Getting into the third row, I've yet to find any vehicle that can beat the MDX. All you have to do is just press one button, and then a spring-loaded mechanism pushes the seat forward. As far as the third rows themselves, again the MDX has more space. Legroom is 28.1 inches versus 23.5, and headroom is 35.6 inches versus 34.8. That translates to the Acura space being more usable, even when the second row is all the way back, something I can't say of the RX. It also has 2 charging USBs. Wrapping things up in the cargo area, again we see the same trend. Behind the third row, the RXL only has 8 cubic feet of space, which is approximately half the space of the MDX. That advantage only expands as the seats fold, at 23 versus 38.4 cubic feet with the third row folded, and 58 versus 68 cubic feet with the second row folded. But at least the RX's third row is power folding. So overall, if space is your biggest priority, the MDX will be the way to go. Well everyone, that pretty much wraps up this comparison. As you can see, these vehicles are incredibly close to each other, each having its own pros and cons. At the end of the day, if luxury is your biggest priority, choose the RX. But if space and utility are what you're looking for, the MDX is hard to beat. Thanks for joining us on yet another Faceoff comparison. And be sure to subscribe for more comparisons and our signature full review videos. See you next time.